Hey there, welcome to House in Progress. I'm Scott, and today I'm going to be teaching you all of my lawn tips that I use to keep my grass green and healthy through the entire summer. Let's get started. So my very first tip is about mowing correctly and making sure that you have a sharp lawnmower blade. You can either have your old blade sharpened or replace it with a new one. Next up is setting the correct height on your lawnmower. You want this about 2.5 to 3 inches for all grass types and mow at the same height year round. If your grass is shorter than this, it's going to be more susceptible to heat and droughts, and if it's taller than this, it's going to encourage insects, diseases, and weeds to grow. The frequency at which you choose to mow also is very important, and you should never be cutting off more than 1/3 of the total height of the grass when you're mowing. As long as you're following along with that previous rule, go ahead and ditch your bag and let those clippings fall back onto the lawn. They decompose quickly and they provide a source of recycled nutrients for the lawn. And it's a common misconception that it actually adds to more thatch buildup. This isn't true. And my last mowing related tip is to cross cut in a different direction than the time before and every time after that. This keeps the grass nice and strong. These next few tips are all about keeping your edges clean. I like to use a trimmer to get up nice and close against those tall blades of grass up against the edges that my lawnmower just can't hit. And then once a year I like to use an edger or a trimmer to clean up the edges around sidewalks and driveways to prevent overgrowth. Some trimmers actually double as an edging machine by just rotating the handle sideways. Fertilizing gives your grass the nutrients it needs to thrive. There is a science behind when you're supposed to fertilize, but I typically do it once in the spring when the weather starts warming up and the grass starts growing, and then again in the fall when I have to stop cutting my grass weekly. When deciding which fertilizer to buy, find something high in nitrogen and also with iron, as these are the two nutrients most deficient from Colorado lawns. I also like to get a slow release formula so that it keeps fertilizing long after I've already spread it on my grass. This rich lawn turf food has worked great for me year after year, and it's made for Colorado lawns specifically. Make sure that you read the instructions on the back of the bag or on your spreader for the proper distribution of fertilizer so that you don't under or over fertilize. The type of spreader that you use is really up to you, whether you use a handheld or a push behind. As long as it's spreading evenly, that's the most important thing. Knowing how to water your lawn throughout the year is also extremely important. When you water, you're really trying to water down to the roots and you're not trying to just wet the surface of it. By placing a shallow baking pan in your lawn while you run a cycle of your sprinklers, you'll get a good idea of how much water is actually making its way down into your lawn. For a healthy Colorado lawn, you want about 1 to 1.5 inches of water per week, although that could fluctuate depending on how hot and dry it has been. The best time of day to water your grass is between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., which is when the natural dew cycle of the grass occurs. It's also when there's generally greater water pressure and the temperature is cooler, more humid, and less windy, so there's less water being evaporated. Throughout the year, you should check on your sprinklers and make sure that none of them are broken and wasting water. If they are, replace them as soon as possible. When watering, if you find that you have water puddling up or running off of the lawn, try and adjust the flow rate on the sprinkler head so that the water has more time to soak into the ground before it puddles up. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of my lawn being aerated, so this will have to do. It's important to aerate your lawn at least once per year, although I do mine twice, once in the spring around April or May, and once in late summer around August or September. This helps reduce thatch, reduce soil compaction, and increase water infiltration deep down into the roots. And that's all the steps that I take to keep my grass green and healthy year-round. Hopefully you were able to take some insight from these and apply them to your own grass. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.